Must not be the camera. Anyway, like I said, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in this digital media world. It's Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, and you are listening to DYOR Live here in the morning. Many of you have said, hey, Tom, I enjoy your morning shows on YouTube, but I got a lot of things to do in the morning, and YouTube does not stay in the foreground. I want everyone to know that you can always switch over to Twitch and listen to it. As the Twitch app allows you to watch in the background. You can also, I'm also in the DYOR Telegram room. I'm also on Twitter, and your Twitter app usually allows you to, depending on your platform, allows you to watch in the background as well. But we got an interesting show for you today. As always, why do we have an interesting show for you? Just because it's crypto, and every week is interesting. But let's get on with the show. Ah, yes. Like I say every time, for those of you who listen every day, you're probably getting sick of it. I love those intros. Gets me worked up, gets me going, gets me ready to talk for an hour or so here. Like I try to do every morning on these shows, is I try to get engagement from the YouTube algorithm. I try to get engagement so the YouTube algorithm promotes us and gets our message out to a wider audience. Speaking of getting out to a wider audience, I'm going to tweet that right now. Let's get the tweet out for that. We are live and ready to go here. Engagement from I try to get engagement so the YouTube come join us. Promotes us and gets our message out to a wider audience. And for you Twitter people that are just listening, wider audience, I'm going to tweet right-click on the picture of me and open it in a new window and go about your surfing business. We are live and ready to go here. Engagement from I try to get engagement so the YouTube come join us. Promotes us and gets our message out to a wider audience. And for you Twitter people that are just listening, it's hard to write a tweet and talk on a different topic at the same time. It's kind of the left brain, right brain thing. I guess the tweeting would be no brain thing. To listen while you multitask. Try to get engagement so YouTube come join us. Right-click on this tweet. Twitter people that are just listening. It's hard to write a tweet and talk on a different topic at the same time. It's kind of the left brain, right brain thing. I guess the tweeting would be no brain thing. All right, let's tweet that out. Let's tweet that out, and then we need to go ahead and retweet it, as they say. There it is. Let's do the great retweet. All right, I know this has been an exciting opening of a show. just so exciting to come in and hear me still setting up what was going on with the show. But it's hard. It's hard to go live with these things and get the word out amongst social media when it's just you. It's just you doing it. Don't have a big staff here. Nope, not at all. Do this myself. Let's make sure we pay attention to the groups. Come join us, everybody. Come join me in the VC. For those of you that are listening and are hoping I eventually get to the topic at hand, for anyone that wants to do a voice chat and ask questions and talk, we're doing this radio talk show style. Just come on into our Telegram room, the DYOR Project's Telegram room, and Telegram there is programmed to come in here into the studio and get into my in-ear feed, and we can talk about crypto, talk about whatever you want. But I gotta say, like every morning, I like to talk about the news and the general headlines of what's going on. Everybody in crypto generally gets all the information they need from their phone every day, all day, because many of us stare at our phones all day. Unlike the early days when we literally stared at our phone every 5 minutes because the markets were pumping. And I don't mean the early days of 2014 and things like that. I mean what we call the SafeMoon era. Oh, I got to remember to talk about them. And when that brought a bunch of new people into crypto. And it was pumping, and everybody's like, "Oh, my $50 investment is now worth $100. Yay! All right, now it's worth $200. All right, wow, it's worth $1,000." So everybody's staring at their phone like this, and for some people, it was like, "Wow, it's worth $1 million. Man, it's gonna be $10 million tomorrow." And then they went to sleep, and it was worth $50 again. Anyway, I digress. And so. You get all your news and all that, and I understand that. But it's always good to have a little summary in the morning of the major news stories so you can keep them in the back of your mind and hopefully get a little commentary about them. I'm just going to check some things here to make sure we got the old streamer thing going here. Let's see, where did we end up on... The question is that I'm broadcasting on LinkedIn. I tried something new. Usually I've been setting up an event. Let's see, where did we end up on... I've been setting up an event and broadcasting to that. And this time I just tried going straight to my profile. But I don't know if that word gets out. The question is that I'm broadcasting on LinkedIn. I tried something new. Usually I've been setting up an event. I don't know if the word is getting out about that. I've been setting up an event. Apparently not. Now the question is, how do you get it out? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're... Let's just, I guess, just share it, huh? The repost button. Let's just, I guess, just share it, huh? The repost button. Let's just, I guess. All right, live this morning about bull or bear market and crypto, general talk and fun. All right, so now I'm with you full time here. I believe I don't have any more setup to do. All right, let's get see if we can get a little background music playing. I guess the background music playing too loudly. Let's give it a shot, see what's going on here. Testing 1, 2. Just trying to test the background music, see how loud it is. All right, that's a good level. All right, this morning we got a bunch of good stuff for you here. The main topic of the show, as you probably saw from the advertising, was What are we in here? Are we in a bull market or a bear market here? And there's doom and gloom news all the time with banks, with the U.S. government prosecuting, with market sentiment, and with corruption, FTX, with all sorts of issues that bring it the negative light on it. And then there's all sorts of things like people saying there's going to be another 100 million people that get into crypto, which is going to force a bear market. So we'll talk about that today. But first, we're going to talk about the news. Let's talk about, one of the things everyone always wants to hear about. What's Bitcoin doing? Now they're pumping again this morning. They are trading at 28.4 right now. I don't need to give you the price. Anyone that's interested has it programmed on their phone. Let's get some welcome, everyone. For those of you on YouTube, like I tell everybody, if you are on YouTube listening and you want to multitask on your mobile device, switch over to Twitch and you'll be able to watch it in the background because YouTube, when you go to check your email, YouTube shuts off. So feel free to listen to on Twitch or LinkedIn, or come over to the Telegram room of the DYOR project. Should be able to find that if you know how to use Telegram. And so, like I was saying, Bitcoin is coming up again. It seems to be pumping. That's a 15-minute chart up there. Let's go with the 30-minute chart. And as you can see over the past day, it's pumped from just at the high 26s into the mid 28s, which is a good thing. Nice 2% gain over the past few days. 10% gain, 2% gain, which is good. And I've been talking about Bitcoin a lot lately. In fact, I'll gladly promote that I take not the starting soon button. No. If I get this right. That you can send sats to this address, frailbattle36@walletofsatoshi.com. And in doing so, you'll help support the show. Send me some sats. I want to stack them. You need to stack them. Stack the sats. Now, it works great in English. I don't know what other languages say. I probably should... I know that most of the people that invest in Bitcoin or trade crypto speak English of some sort. But idioms and phrases and things like that don't carry over from language to language. So in English, we say stack the sats. In Croatian, I don't know what they say. And to our Nederlander friends that speak either Flanders or Belgian Dutch, I'd like to know what you say about that too. Anyway, so Bitcoin's pumping, and what I like to do with this show is I like to lead into the Crypto Lifer show. His show starts at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Central. And he does technical analysis of Bitcoin and 20 to 30 other projects per day. And so I like to have a nice fundamentals and news talk lead into Crypto Lifer's program and let him get into the trading aspects of it. But I can tell you right now, this is a good chart. It's good. It's going up. Got this little this little nose is the 30-minute chart, little nose on it here. It's a flaggy thingy. I had Sam on my show once, and when we spoke about technical analysis, and I admit, even though I worked on the trading floor in New York for a long time, I understand the basics, obviously, but I don't understand the nuances of it for sure. So I make fun of it. In that I make fun of my knowledge being less than it actually is, so it's kind of fun. It's it. And one of our past members of the team would take these and draw turkeys on them and things like that. And we enjoyed that. But anyway, that's that for Bitcoin, and let's get into the news. And one of the things that CNBC was saying is how is Bitcoin possibly still trading at this level? And the reason obviously is because people are buying it, and people are not selling it. And people, I guess they go right to people like Mark Cuban and say, why is it? And like he's an expert at it or something like that. Mark Cuban's an expert marketer, that's for sure. Mark Cuban famously lost $100 million in the Titan stablecoin collapse. It might not have been $100 million. Might have been $15 million investment worth $100 million at the time. I swear, every morning when I start this show, the sirens go by outside. I used to live near a fire department here in Chicago, and they'd go by at 6 a.m. every morning and wake me up. There they go. Engine 112, truck 112, whatever it is. They'd go by every morning at 6 a.m. And wake you up. Fire department was where we voted. So I go over there to vote during one of the elections, and I asked the guys, I said, why do you guys scream out of here at 6 a.m. every day on the dot? And the guy just looked at me plainly, and he said, that's when old people wake up and die. And I was like, oh, for Christ's sake. So then every time I heard the ambulance at 6 a.m., I pictured Grandma waking up, putting her feet on the floor, standing up, heart stops, drops over dead, and the ambulance leaves, wakes me up. I digress. But anyway, Mark Cuban was saying he doesn't have a real reason for it. Here on the screen, it says the tech entrepreneur investor wrote that cryptocurrency supporters would say it's a safe haven at a time of global financial unrest. And Mark says, I don't know. But that is true. And we have seen that once the bank shakeout happened and the banks were proven to be a little risky, and the government kind of waffled before they said we're going to back everything. That people started putting money in, and you saw Bitcoin go from wanting to trade back down to the 19 and 18s, all just pumping right up, and it's gained it's gained 45% since Christmas, and it's gained in the past 4 weeks it's gained another 15 to 20%, and held that. It's gone up and down obviously and stuff like that. So why is Bitcoin still at 27,000 and now 28.5? It's because people are buying it. That's why. People are buying the Bitcoin. Yet every article, they can't possibly write an article here without saying, oh, but Bitcoin got to 65,000 in 2021 and crashed all the way down to 16,000. So you could lose all your money. It drives me crazy to no end when writers for news or other articles, they have so little thought process for coming up with interesting things to say. All they do is go back and pick out tropes like, let's pick the worst thing to write about, or the most common thing that every news article mentions, which would be saying, yeah, but it went up to this and now it's not. They don't write that about Tesla stock. Tesla stock was flying high. And every time someone writes an article about Tesla, well, Tesla had a recall for their tires, but their stock was at $20 bazillion, and now it's only at $1 bazillion. I don't know about that. They do that with Bitcoin and pretty much every crypto article. I'm holding a screwdriver for some reason. Crypto article all the time, and I don't get it. Don't get it at all. Anyway, so Bitcoin's 28,500. There's a lot of optimism in Bitcoin right now. Let me put it that way. For a while, there was quite a lot of pessimism as large funds were unwinding their positions, meaning FTX and Gemini, and a couple other ones that escape me right now. But when those large funds unwound their leverage, that they had borrowed money based on the false value of their own tokens. They had to unwind actual assets like Bitcoin. And so we saw big drops in the market, and that's when it went down. The math said it was going to go down to the mid-18s, maybe 18, and the charts did too. And then it went all the way down to 16, and it was pushing the high 15s. And it stopped because all that levered unwinding stopped. And then once people saw the bank shakeout happen, they said, all right, the market makers started to come back. It's harder for the market makers now. There's no good exchange, cash exchange, fiat exchange, crypto exchange for them to move lots of money around and settle to cash quickly. They used Signature Bank and Silvergate Bank for that, and the government choke pointed them out. I gotta tell you, past 10 days I've been talking about the government's choke point Operation Choke Point 2.0, and how they're just hammering crypto. And I think they're raising the interest rates when they saw what it was doing to crypto. I don't think they minded at all. It's odd. I'm still confused, and I switch over from reporting on the news to talking opinion. I'm confused how humans, especially ones in the United States, that are humans, or United States citizens, are generally curious. They're innovative. They want to see new things happen. They try new things. They're entrepreneurial. And yet we have a whole group of people that filter into government life that can only say we want to keep things the same. And I understand that that's a political philosophy too. Like typically the Democratic Party wants change. They want to be progressive, and change needs to be faster. The Republican Party has traditionally been, let's keep things the same. We'll talk about new ideas, but let's do it slowly and think this thing through, and not just come up with brand new programs and whomp them out there. And in the government for Bitcoin and crypto, it's following the Republican pattern, like even though the Democrats are in charge. But this isn't a political party thing, it's just an ideology thing. That the government is saying, hold it. We got a system here. We don't want to interrupt it. In fact, a lot of people are getting a lot of news columns and time on CNBC and Bloomberg for stopping crypto and throwing roadblocks up. And so that's good for my career. Unfortunately, the U.S. government, that's how it works. With regulators and prosecutors, people get promoted based on how many attaboys there are from within their sphere of influence. And when they win big cases, or when they get big policy changed, or when they get high-end access to the media, that's the attaboy. And did you see what Jimmy did this week? He got the big decision that stopped XRP. He's going places. And unfortunately, that's how it works. And that's why you see a lot of people in the government doing things that confound you, like stifling innovation and stifling Bitcoin. It's really amazing. It really is amazing. And I don't understand it. I mean, it's hard. I'm sure somebody understands it, but I don't. I don't understand it. Speaking of banks, that's right. The French said, I almost used Spanish. French almost said no mas, and that would be Spain. I don't even know what it is in French for no more. We'll just say alt. Well, that'd be true. Whatever. The French said, stop this buffoonery that's going on in the banks. A lot of these things that are going on are money laundering and financial fraud and tax avoidance. And the French are putting out press releases saying that they have estimated that they have lost $100 billion in taxes. I got to tell you, there's no shortage of schemes in Europe about tax avoidance. And one of them, a big one that I saw a lot with when I lived in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, is that there are a lot of expats there from Europe. And just as a backstory, if you're an American, it doesn't matter where you live. You've got to pay U.S. taxes unless you actually do live in another country full-time, work there, live there, and there's very stringent requirements. You can't come back to the U.S. a lot. You have to stay out of the country almost all the time. Otherwise, they say you're just basically vacationing and tricking the IRS. And so when you see American expats, generally they're wherever they are, they're there all the time. And they come back to the U.S. just like for short vacations and things like that. And generally they spend most of their time going elsewhere in the world instead of back to the U.S. because they are only allowed to be in the U.S. like 30 days a year and still maintain their tax-free status. But in Europe, there's all these different countries that have their own rules and not very good enforcement. And so a lot of the Europeans that I was living with and working with, they basically what they do is like my friends from Germany, they would unregister their residency in Germany. So I'm still a citizen, but I'm not a resident here anymore. I'm a resident of Dubai, and they wouldn't pay any taxes, except for some very small fees and things like that. But they were living in both places. They were going back and forth so much. They'd spend the summer when it was smoking hot in Dubai in the Middle East. They would go back to Europe and have a more tepid summer. And then when the heat went away in the Middle East, they came back down there. And so they were avoiding it so much. And in France, there's a lot of people doing that as well. And they probably have all kinds of other tricks going on here. But the French finally got them. They came and they raided 5 banks. They raided them. I mean, I love it when that happens. Because all of us at the lower end of the crypto marketing level, we put up with so much KYC and anti-money laundering. A few foreigners, KYC means know your customer. Know your customer's details. Make sure you're not doing business with a crook. We put up with so much crap with that. We almost have to live our lives around proving that we're a legitimate citizen to the government in all aspects of it. When we shouldn't have to do that. We should just get our tax forms and fill it out correctly. And if we lie on it and they find out we lied on it, then the penalties are severe, and that would keep people from cheating on their taxes. But the way they've constructed this, you have to go buy, you want to go buy a coffee, they're like, sorry, no KYC, you might be a terrorist and funding the terrorists who coffee purchases. But the French went in, said to the banks, Society General and stuff, said, nope, this is not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. You need to pay. So there's going to be some roiling of the French banks. Macron, I got to tell you, he's doing a good job over there. He has his principles, and he sticks by them. And he did that his last term, and he won election. Won his re-election, even though seemingly the media said the French hates him. No, the protesters hated him, but the rest of the French society said, no, this is good for the country. And that's going to happen again, I believe. He took on the protesters. He took on the pension system. First of all, as I say, governments should not be in the pension business, especially municipalities. I can't speak to a nationwide single-payer pension fund because I haven't experienced any of that. But states, provinces, municipalities, they should not be providing pensions. They should participate in helping an employee retire by using 401k programs here in the US, RRSPs in Canada, things like that. But the liabilities incurred are so vast, billions and billions and billions of dollars. So when they, I also live in Ottawa, Canada. When they bring a bus driver on, the average bus driver, brand new bus driver hired at a young age, could work 30 years. 30 years, you pay them. And then the average bus driver is going to be in retirement 30 years. So you own that person for 60 years. You have to pay them every week for 60 years for driving a bus. And not only that, but the things you pay them in years 31 through 60 are a lot more than what you pay them in 0 or year 1 through 30. And the contributions that the employee makes to pensions is never enough. You almost have to save at least half your check each time for it to work out right. And of course, people would freak right out. So what the government say is, interest over time will take care of it. We'll contribute. They never do. Pension funds are always underfunded. And the great Ponzi scheme has come home to roost in France with protests, and then the bank here letting people have it, or the government letting the banks have it here. I love it. For those of you listening on YouTube, drop a comment. I'd appreciate it. I would appreciate it. I like to do things like put them on the screen. I don't know if this one's on the screen. It's not. Nope, that's not it. Usually I have these things set up correctly. Let's see if this one does it. This one does it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the DYOR Media Network. Welcome, everyone. We're going through the news here. Just talking about the day's event. Like I say, drop a comment here. If you're on LinkedIn, drop a comment there. And if you want to come over and talk, join me in the DYOR Project Global Telegram room. If you remember that, great. If you know how to find it on Telegram, great, do that. If you don't know how to find it on Telegram, this is not the time to learn because you'll end up in a scammer's room. But as I say, if you are multitasking on your phone or on your device and you want to look at your email or your text and the YouTube shuts off, go to Twitch, go to LinkedIn, go to another app that allows it to be played in the background because YouTube makes you pay to do that. If you have YouTube Premium, you're in luck. Make go stop. Good morning, Tom. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. I'm up early, having some tea. Like I say, I had to give up coffee. And I'm talking about all the news of the day and what is going on. Where did I put the news of the day? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your morning to watch me ramble on and watch me try to get this YouTube algorithm broken so we can get through. There's so many people out there talking crypto that I watch that are absolute crap. I realize a lot of people don't want to just listen to me ramble about the news and the markets and things like that. And they just want people to tell them, buy or sell Bitcoin. Those are other guys talking. But what I'm trying to do is have a nice DYOR live talk show in the morning to get people ready for the day. And I'm going at this time of the day. I'm going to be trying to go an hour earlier to get people before the market opens. So I appreciate your time helping me do that. Other news. Perhaps you heard me report either on this show or on my, as I host Audit Chains on the Brink podcast about the UAE and their efforts to just really knock out the digital asset world and provide for the new financial markets to come in to the UAE and make it a hub. And they're doing a damn good job. I said, guys in Dubai and the guys in Abu Dhabi, it's just awesome what you guys are doing. You're setting a level playing ground. You're trying to attract business, and you said, look, we're going to regulate this, and we're going to regulate it well, but we're going to make it fair. We're going to make it fair from everyone. And if you want to open an exchange, if you want to open a project and trade it here, if you want to deal in these, fine, come here and do it. If your government at home is saying, nope, we don't want you to do it, like China, even Russia says it's illegal, but we all know it's Russia. You just pay and everything's fine. And even in the United States, come here and you can play under our rules. And people are. Mako says, I'm good listening while I work. Now, see, that's what I'm looking for. People to listen while they work. It's not like I have a show that you need to see all the time, although I'd like you to give me a video watch now and then, but just listening in the background is good enough. Thank you very much for watching. But the UAE is just killing it. They're killing it. There's a trade show every week in Dubai about this, and people are flocking over there to start businesses up literally as fast as you can think. It's not as well funded as you might think, like Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley's throwing billions at people, but Silicon Valley is suffering from the overreaches of the U.S. government. But Dubai, I colloquially use the word Dubai. What I really mean is the entire country of the UAE. And what Abu Dhabi did as the federal government and the largest of the Emirates, they established a multi-billion-dollar fund. Where is that? The Abu Dhabi Fund. There it is. They established a $1 billion fund to start, and then in the article, they talk about it going up to whatever is needed to attract Web3 blockchain companies to feed innovation in that. Imagine the U.S. government doing the same thing. Can anyone imagine that? Can we say that tomorrow the U.S. government is going to put out a thing saying, oh my God, we've established a new multi-$100 billion fund to help attract crypto companies and digital asset companies? Would that just blow your mind? absolutely would just blow. Just people like Caitlin Long and the Winklevoss brothers and stuff would just stop in their tracks and be like, it would be like that the meme you see on various things a lot where Kevin Hart and his I can't remember the other actor's name are like, damn. It's such a weird dichotomy that other parts of the world are actively promoting it, and other parts of the world, and I don't mean like a dictatorship, an awful place versus a great place. I mean two very nice places, the U.S. and the United Arab Emirates. One is taking the tact, this is great, it's awesome, we're embracing this. And the other is saying, it's so evil, you little teenager kids. I do the old white guy talk a lot, and I love it. And it's what it is actually Eddie Murphy from Raw, or whatever his other early ones was. He imitates white guys. You guys got to stop that. I can just Jerome Powell from the Fed. I don't know about this. They're messing with money supply. And Gary Gensler. Shouldn't make fun of these people, but they're make funnable because they say they're very smart people and they've risen to the top of their professions, yet they say the dumbest things. Oh, I digress again. But anyway, my point is, with this news topic, is that the UAE is kicking it, and in fact, our lead sponsor for our show, Audit Chains, kind of lead architect of their protocol. His name's Jason Myers, and you've seen him on my show, and I'm on his show a lot. He was just down in Dubai meeting customers and for a show, and his report back was that it's just fantastic down there. I have actually not been there since the crypto thing exploded. I spent a lot of time there from basically 1995 all the way to, I guess, 2015. And I haven't spent a lot of time there lately, and I miss it. Because when something new comes there and people see the amount of money that can be made, or just that money can be made in it, they embrace it, and people flock there, and people just change their whole lives and say, hey, this is coming, it's going to be great, it's obviously going to work well, let's get behind it, let's talk to the government about it. The government says, hey, all right, we think you're right, but prove it. Prove it. Here's some rules to operate under, so we can make sure you're not going awry here with your programs. And I'm not just talking about crypto. I'm talking about any industry. You can go to the Middle East and talk about new industries and things like that and say, hey, we think this is going to be really good. The regulatory scheme in other countries won't let it happen. And with the right playing field and the right tax situation and money behind it and promotion from the government, it'll do really well. And they'll listen to you and they'll say, all right, we'll give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, they're like, bye-bye. So it's a great place to innovate because it's growing so fast. New things are needed to bring new employees in, feed the economy. It works well. And I enjoy it there. And so on the topic of today's topic, whether things are a bull or a bear, it's safe to say that it depends where you live. I know people are hoping Tom's going to come out and tell us it's a bull market and we're going to invest in Fortune and make a ton of money. Obviously, that's not how it works. We're just talking about it colloquially amongst how everything else in the world goes. Or is it going to be a bull market or a bear market? And you have to break it down into the different ideas. Like in the article behind me, talking about Bitcoin and gold and how it relates to Fed tightening. I leaned into the middle of the camera instead of off screen. Anyway, the stock market is one beast, and the stock market does its own thing, and the crypto market is different. Sometimes they go in parallel, sometimes they don't. One of the good things to remember about the stock market and where it's whether it's going to be in bull or bear is the employment level, and as jobs are being created and job the number of jobs are increasing. That brings more people to be employed who donate into their mutual fund retirement funds, their 401ks and all that. And that feeds a lot of money into Wall Street. I mean, a ton of money. I mean, think of the size of the teachers union funds, the pension funds. I mean, the amount of money under management from Charles Schwab and Fidelity and these places, the money is unbelievable. And every Friday, they get billions of dollars put in from people donating on their paychecks. And so if the job numbers are increasing, if you're paying attention to the economy, you don't need to be a wizard to know any about this stuff. You don't need to have gone to school about economic policy and things like that. You can just get the basics. You can get an idea. If job numbers are increasing, not the unemployment percentage, but if they're adding jobs, that means more people are giving money to Wall Street, putting money into the stock market, and that puts buy pressure on it. That's a natural bull market. So if there's long-term job growth, that generally signals a bull market in the stock market, and generally means that people are going to be flush with cash. That's a very generalist look at it. With crypto right now, it's basically adoption. It's in that early adopter phase, and we need to get more people in that too. So it's growth oriented. Welcome, Joel. I'll get to you in just a second here. I will. Good to see your comments. Thank you for tuning in. I guess I'll address it while you've got my attention. Joel says, if the dollar falls down in response to Saudi Arabia dumping dollars for oil, the bull market for crypto and a bear market for stock markets. You are exactly right. The Saudis have a ton of U.S. dollars, but one of the things you need to remember. Let's see. Let's see what this next comment is. De-dollarization from BRICS nations not using U.S. dollar in buying oil. Yeah, I addressed this yesterday in my show a little bit because one of the topics somebody brought up was the petrodollar versus the petro yuan from China and whether Chinese currency could supplant the U.S. dollar in the global oil market. And the same with the Saudis. Can they force U.S. dollars out of the system? In my opinion on that, and I'll stress that it's my opinion, and that's from my opinion is based on having worked in the oil markets on the New York Mercantile Exchange as a young kid, and getting to understand that and having a basis of the oil market my whole life. And then I worked in manufacturing for a long time and learned the shipping and logistics around the world and blah, 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 blah. The whole oil economy is based on dollars, not just the Saudis pumping it and saying, okay, well, we're going to get someone else to pay for this in a different currency. The entire thing, including the insurance for the entire oil industry, is basically based in dollars. Now, even though they, like in Europe, they'll use euros or some other currencies sometimes, but it's still pegged to the dollar costs, and almost all oil contracts are settled in dollars. The entire futures markets, 90% of it is in dollars. And people can put good efforts into changing to get out of that. And it will be it'll be worthless of their time to do it. Because ultimately, what defines the way what currency is used for any transaction is the people that are making the transaction, not the people in charge. I mean, the United States government says you can't use crypto to pay for things and you can't do this and this kind of stuff. Yeah, we all do. That's why crypto is so busy. And the same with oil. The entire ecosystem for oil, which is so vast, it consumes every aspect of your life because nothing in your life, you can't look around you, isn't based on oil. The computer monitors you're looking at, the servers that are running this thing, the blinds in your windows, the microphone, this cover on my mic, made with oil. And all of that is a dollar-based economy. And so, and the Saudis are, while they have a lot of money, and Aramco is the largest company in the world right now, I think, they don't have the pull in order to change the whole market. And one of the reasons is because the U.S. now has vast reserves of oil. Chevron says they now have a 100-year supply in their oil fields. And the other oil companies are saying the same thing. And the United States is a net exporter now of oil. And so I can see countries trying to do it, but all it takes is one little burp, and one country will say, of the BRICS countries, they'll say, nah, you know what, that was a nice try, but my Saudi riyals or my Chinese yuan or something like that, it's just I don't know. And one of the reasons why is that regardless of how you feel about the U.S. government's regulatory and enforcement system being overbearing right now, the U.S. government is a very democratic government where the leaders change and policies change. And in a lot of these countries, in Saudi Arabia, Turkey, China, Russia, Venezuela, there's authoritarian governments, and nobody trusts those governments. And are you going to trust them with your money? Of course not. Of course not. And so people vote with their wallets. And they voted for, basically since oil was invented, in U.S. dollars. And the whole ecosystem is built around that. So Joel, thanks for your comments. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Comes up a lot now. It's the news thing. And you get a lot of people on the internet pushing it like, oh, it's just around the corner. But it is definitely not around the corner. Obviously, that is my opinion. I'm not an expert in oil, but I'm an expert in observing things. And the whole oil business is based on this. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I have this Frail Battle 36. I accept the Lightning Network donations. If you are not on the Lightning Network and not using Nostr in place of Twitter, I suggest you do so. And if you know how to send sats on the Lightning Network, this email address will get it to me, and I appreciate anything that you would donate. I mean, the amount of sats people send me 40 sats, 50 sats, 100. I mean, you need millions of sats to have even a couple $100. So it's not like it's more of a let's get this Lightning Network running and getting a lot of people using it and well adopted. It's so fast and it's free. You send somebody 40 sats come out of your wallet, and the other person gets 40 sats. I don't understand how it works without fees. There's no gas. It just happens, and it's instant. Boom. And it's all, and the Lightning Network is a layer 2 network on top of Bitcoin. And it's just, it's starting to smoke everybody. It's really amazing. So, Joel, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So when we're in talking about the bull and bear market, I was talking about the stock market versus the crypto market. And in the bull cycle, you got to see job growth in the U.S. We're talking about the U.S. and really, for that matter, Europe, because the way people save their money. Less so in Europe because they have more government pension funds, which relies a lot more on the taxpayer than on the stock market. And in the U.S., while we talk about pensions here a lot, most of them are privatized. Even the U.S. federal government doesn't have a single pension anymore. They've moved to 403c plans, I think. It's the public government version of the 401k. And so every 2 weeks when the U.S. government makes payroll, or whenever their payroll schedule is, there's literally billions of dollars being pumped into Wall Street, and that needs to go somewhere. So that's buy pressure. That's a lot of buy pressure. But if the job market is contracting, less money goes into Wall Street, or it might even be a net outflow as people take the money out of their 401ks to help with emergency payments and things like that, or take the pain and take the penalty of it and just need it for daily life, which is a huge mistake because then they don't have anything to retire on. But then you see an overall bear pressure. Now, you can talk about the Fed and what they do and interest rates until your nose bleeds and your eyes pop out of your head. And literally, if you go to LinkedIn, there's daily arguments on this. No, it's going to do this. No, it's going to do this. Well, I'm a triple PhD. Well, I'm a quadruple PhD and all this kind of stuff. That's like me telling you that I leave it up to Crypto Lifer to do the technical analysis and things like that. because I can't speak to that. I speak at not a higher level, a broader level, more general level, as they say, a more fundamentalist level. Same with bull or bear market. And so what I'm looking for in the stock market is to see long-term growth in jobs, not just low unemployment. The percentage unemployment number is kind of a trick because so many people that are like me, that are gig workers, that contract workers, are not included in that. We wish we had full-time employment, but we don't. And that number is manipulated to no end, especially when they say 1 month, unemployment is down 2%. Or no, they announce it's up, and then it's down. And then they correct themselves and say, it's the opposite. And no, wait, it's the opposite of that. Just look for the total number of people employed. Is it going up? Is it increasing? And that's one of the reasons why people say, we count on immigration to help boost our standard of living. Because the more productivity you get out of a market, the economists listening, if there are any, are saying, finally, says something makes sense to us. the more productivity you can get out of an economy, the better off it is. The higher standard of living, more work you can get out of something, the better. And that comes from either people working harder or adding employees. And so as you add employees, you add to that money going to Wall Street, and that puts buy pressure. And if things are good in Wall Street and going up, that means people are flush with cash. That means new and innovative products like crypto will get money tossed at them. Because people in their 20s and 30s will be sitting around going, hey, I've got a bunch of money. I'm employed. All is good. And they'll say, I want to buy SafeMoon. I've heard about this great thing called SafeMoon, and I want to buy it. For those of you listening, you knew I had to go there, right? Let's just go find it. Let's go find it. SafeMoon. For those of you that don't know what SafeMoon, I can't imagine there are any of you that are in crypto. SafeMoon for a while was the darling stepchild. I keep saying that. The darling child of crypto because it launched. It was one of the first ones on BNB and one of the first ones to use Pancake Swap so well. And it rode the price of BNB from $20-some all the way up to $670. And it rode the FOMO fest of all time. And it turned this little SafeMoon contract into a multi-billion-dollar operation. And a whole bunch of people made money on it. And a whole bunch of people have lost money on it because they got in when it started to go down. But people have been very skeptical of it for a long time. I don't know if you can see this so well in the back here. But anyway, SafeMoon Post. To our valued community, if you ever watch my show, Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked, you know that when things start out like this, a mea culpa is coming. So you may be aware, on Tuesday, March 28th, SafeMoon's liquidity pool was compromised. We've taken swift action to resolve the situation and protect our community and want to make clear that our DEX is safe. Ultimately affected the SafeMoon BNB LP pool. In the hour since, our team has met with key advisors. We have located the suspected exploit, patched the vulnerability, and are engaging in chain forensics, blah, blah, blah. Users should be assured that their tokens are SafeMoon because we have flexibility in our tech. I want to assure you that other LP pools and decks have not been affected, nor have any of our upcoming upgrades and releases. Yada, yada, yada. Be kind to each other, John. And they turned the comments off for that because they knew it would be bad. They knew it. Yes. Lots of laughs. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if we can get... our community safety remains my top priority. And I will continue. This is John Caroni, the CEO of SafeMoon. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Days like this, I'm going to remember who stood tall and supported each member of the SafeMoon community. Mr. SafeMoon, Illinois. Hey, I wonder if I can bring these up. Oh, I'm in the Brave browser. Here, let's see. For those of you that don't use the Brave browser, I highly suggest you do. I have to say that it's an excellent browser. It's wicked fast. It doesn't use as much memory, and it has privacy protection. All those little things you do to try and block ads and try and stop JavaScript and this and that, all these little tricks you do, Brave does by default, and it's easy to turn things on and off. All right, let's find the SafeMoon stuff. And you got to laugh because they've been taking a beating since they started, with half the world calling them a scam. And even today, people are saying, "Oh, it's just a rug pull." They've been around since the beginning of the latest wave of crypto, especially the DeFi, Binance chain, crypto stuff. And they've stuck through it. They've built a good DEX. They've built a good wallet. They have millions of people that still invest in them. And so you can't say that that's not oh, here, sorry, I'm distracted with this. That's not good. They've done a great job. Most DeFi projects last, a couple of months max, or they get hacked within weeks of launching. And SafeMoon kept going at it. Let's see, what's a DeFi Mark? Oh, that DeFi Mark, formerly of SafeMoon. It's interesting. After 2 minutes looking at the newest SafeMoon contract, I was able to identify the extremely obvious exploit. The attacker took advantage of the public burn function. This function lets any user burn tokens from any other address. The attacker used this function to remove SafeMoon tokens from the liquidity pool, artificially raising the price of SafeMoon. The attacker was then able to sell SafeMoon into this LP pool at a grossly overpriced rate within the same transaction, wiping out the remaining BNB in the liquidity pool. This is an elementary exploit that many contracts in the space have been falling victim to. Yeah, I could see that because in a couple of my episodes of Wrecked, I covered projects that the LP had been stolen, and you look at their chart, and it just goes from like a price of 1 to a price of 50, and then it goes back to a price of 1 or even lower. And you're like, well, how'd they steal the whole thing? They messed with the supply, and you do that by burning the tokens. It causes the price to go up, and then you sell at an inflated price and steal all the money. Someone says, this is not a hack. Stop using that word. Well, then what is it? What is it? People tend to want to say it's a hack because there's some guy in a room going, getting through the defense computer, whopper, blah, 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 blah. Click, I made it in. That's a hack. Went around the code, jumped the code. Everything is great. This is a hack, too. They looked at the contract. They learned how to exploit it. They found something that SafeMoon overlooked. And they did it. They got hacked. They got hacked. I tell you, I smile at it because that's what I do on my show, Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked. I smile at it because these opportunities, while terrible, are learning experiences. And fortunately, SafeMoon only lost $9 million, and it was not $90 million or $250 million or something like that. It was just $9 million, and people didn't lose their shirts over it. And generally, holders were not affected that much, as far as I know. I'm buying tomorrow, just like I do every day. This train doesn't stop. Yeah, the train's slowing down, buddy. Sorry if I didn't casually dismiss your investment in SafeMoon, but it's been a tough investment. People keep buying it because they keep believing in it. I have not spent any time in that ecosystem in a year and a half or so or longer. Even other people, the Rich Quack team extends our deepest sympathies regarding the unfortunate hacking incident involving SafeMoon, resulting in a $9 million loss. I hope the team can effectively address this. I think I read something yesterday about a hacker, not a hacker of some sort, but a guy that deals in the MEV pools front running one of the transactions. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. Maybe talk about that tomorrow. We're running out of time today. As I say, I like to lead into Crypto Lifer. Let's see. Update extras. Blah, blah, blah. Let's try and find some other good news here. Oh, there's a lot of people sucking it up to SafeMoon. Ah, here it is. The bot who was faster than the hacker never cashed out any of the money. In fact, this happened before with Zircon. Right, same bot, same case. They basically front ran the the bot. A lot of hacks and exploits have gas issues. And they don't estimate the amount of gas needed correctly. And so people run bots that see transactions like coming like this and immediately front run them by putting a lot more gas on it. I don't know why people trying to steal $9 million don't put max gas. Pay whatever you need to. I don't care if you pay cents for the transaction. Pay $50, pay $100, pay, $100,000 to make sure this transaction gets through. Why, I don't know. But the front runner put right in his transaction. Hi, it appears that your bot has successfully front run a hack on Zircon. Oh, that's the Zircon Finance one. Never mind. But there was a note in one of the transactions in which I guess the hacker didn't get all of the money because some of it was front run. Let's see. Okay, SafeMoon Knight says, stick this in your ass, you dirty futters. I don't know what he's trying to say here. An upgrade on the, you can't see this, but an upgrade on SafeMoon contract introduced a burn vulnerabilities contract. This is from Certic. This upgrade was not in the scope of our audit. So Certic coming right out saying, hey, if you want to upgrade your contracts and be covered, you need to keep paying us. And why people don't, I don't know. Why they don't have a second set of eyes, third set of eyes. Especially when other people claim that the exploit was common. Original attacker was front run by transaction such and such. It was reached out to SafeMoon to return. Oh, so that's interesting. Apparently I'm just reading tweets, so I don't know the whole story, but it looks like the bot or the front runner got a majority of the money or something like that. See if we can find out. A guy writes, what does this mean, bro? Everything will be okay. Oh, is this the latest on the situation? Like it's like people are having a conversation in my room here. These are comments from Twitter that I'm putting up. Let's see. SafeMoon Knight. From my understanding, this is what happened. A hacker wanted to steal the liquidity, but someone else had a bot that was faster than the hackers, and this person who did this front run wants to return the money because it was an accident. We'll see. There'll be a good story written about this, about something soon. Ugh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's check a little bit of the tweeters here. Checking LinkedIn here. LinkedIn's been good to me lately. I've been getting a lot of replays on LinkedIn, which is good. Not a lot on the live, but a lot on the replays. I'm getting the word out. Unfortunately, LinkedIn doesn't pay you, whereas YouTube, if you get the word out and you go viral, your advertising dollars go through the roof. Let's see. Let's check the. Make sure I'm in the right account here. We've had a total of looks like 23 viewers on the Twitter, which is good. Averaging 15 minutes each. That's impressive. Usually I get on Twitter, you get about 2 minutes, but I put in my tweet to listen while you multitask. Right click on the tweet and open a new window, and you can do like Mako Stop and just listen while doing other things. So thank you for that. Let me see how things were going. I was saying that people should go over to Twitch. I forgot to start the Twitch stream. I wonder why I wasn't getting any comments from Twitch. I have like a little aggregator that brings them all into one window. Usually I get 2 or 3 comments, generally from a common viewer named Karuba. But anyway, for those of you still listening on YouTube, thanks for listening. We've got a few minutes left with us here. I'm gonna get Crypto Lifer started here. I've got a rerun playing. In my window here. I gotta fix that. I hate it when my hand disappears. I'm pointing at something and my hand disappears. Anyway, got a Crypto Lifer show is starting in 1 minute and 26 seconds. So we'll go on for a few minutes until he gets through his intro. Let's see what else we got talking about here on the great striking balls. Social media. Same thing. More people commenting about my comments about the French banks. The banks were Societe Generale, BNP Paribas. I'm not going to pronounce it in French correctly. It's not going to happen. Natixis. HSBC and Exane. I don't know how to pronounce that. Those are 5 of the major banks. HSBC gets in trouble all over the world. The HSBC is a very large bank, but it's very decentralized, and its arms do different things in different places without common oversight. And so one country's version of HSBC will be fine above the board, and another country's will be like, not so much. Like I say, everybody, this email address above my head is for the Lightning Network. If you want to drop some sats to me and help me stack some sats, please do that. The channel's just not large enough to really warrant a Patreon account or enabling the subscription thing for YouTube. Plus, YouTube takes so much of your money. Just trying to build a community here. If you would get the word out about my morning shows, I'm going to be trying doing them more often. I've been going at it now for 2 weeks. Solid. On the advice of a couple of people that said, you need to get the word out, Tom. You need to be regular and have YouTube see that you're going to have regular content, and it'll start helping you. Haven't seen that yet. In fact, my best shows were when I started, and the viewership has gone down on YouTube, whereas on LinkedIn, going up over time. It's very strange. Very, very strange. So if you missed my the beginning part of my show, I see I have a couple of different viewers. If you missed the beginning parts of my show, we just went over the news. The second part of our show, generally news lately, is government regulation in the banking situation. And then, of course, we talked about why Bitcoin is at these levels. And then we went into bull or bear market, and I was keeping it at a high level. The fact that if at the DYOR network, we tend to try to educate people on a broader level, not on the very specific things or detailed things. We tend to keep it general. Kind of like people that watch CNBC all day. They talk about a lot of technical things here and there, but generally they talk about the general market conditions, and that's what we're doing. So if you want to determine whether there's a bull or bear market coming, one of the big things to see is the employment numbers. And are there more people sending, 10% of their paycheck every day to Wall Street? It's like Wall Street's the biggest church in the world. A lot of churches in the United States require people to tithe. T-I-T-H-E, tithe, and say you got to donate 10% of your paycheck to the church to keep it running and to fund the church operations, or you're not a good Christian. And so people do that. And The 401k project is the business world's version of the church and tithing, as they say. And the more money that flows into Wall Street, the more buy pressure on stocks, on funds, on investments, and things like that. And that's good. And when you see the jobs shrinking, not, like I say, not the unemployment number, the percentage, that's kind of a fake number. Just the total numbers. It's going up, things are good. It's going down, things are bad. And obviously, if inflation, then you get into inflation. If inflation is eating away at those numbers, then it has a negative effect. And there's a million factors. People have amazing spreadsheets to figure this out. 1,000 inputs. But if you stick at the high level, are business owners optimistic in hiring people? If they are, market's going to be good. If business owners, remember, most business owners are small business owners. You can talk about Microsoft and Amazon and Apple, all these people that employ 100,000 people or 1 million people. Most people work for small businesses in the world, never mind in the U.S. U.S. and Canada have about the same thing. About 90% of people work for small businesses, and the other 10% work for the large conglomerates. And so what drives hiring isn't Amazon saying we're going to hire another 50,000 people for our warehouses. What drives hiring is 1 million businesses saying we're going to hire 1 or 2 people. And when that happens, you have an almost instant bull market because people have money. When you have money, they do what? They donate to the retirement, which does what? Sends money to Wall Street. I realize that's a simplistic view, but that's the way it is. That is the way it is. I realize some people don't like that, as there's an infinite amount of argument going on. Oh God, I still have the SafeMoon thing in the background. I should be ashamed of myself. Quickly, let's see, is the lifer is on. All right, I'm going to go over and listen to him. Interesting. Fed explains why Custodia got an F on its examination. Caitlin, I want you on my show. I want to talk to you. I want to interview you on my show. I think it will be really good, at least for me. But I think we'll have a good conversation. I see you on a lot of other channels that do get a lot more traction than mine. But I think we'll have a great conversation about things, help you get the word out. So, ladies and gentlemen, another day has come and gone. Enjoyed the morning with you. Thanks to the people that listened in live. And if you were watching this on the replay, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I pay attention to the comments and I answer them on YouTube and in LinkedIn, on Twitch. Well, I'm not on Twitch today, but on the other platforms, I don't really pay attention to the comments because they don't get a lot of comments on it. But for those of you that have participated today, thank you very much. And for those of you that will, thank you too. Once again, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here on the DYOR Media Network. Send these things to your friends, help us get the word out, and let's get this party started. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Be there.